Hi, Bob Kalishman here for Millennium, and today we'll be discussing the World War I, which is apropos for Memorial Day. Today, your treat will be Belleau Wood. Now, this is the battle that occurred during World War I. It was the first American battle, truly, since the Civil War, and according to General whose nickname was Blackjack Purging, it was the most significant battle fought by the Marine Corps or fought by the United States since the Civil War. But more or less, before we go into that, to more or less give you the idea or the mood, there's a poem that I like to, that's apropos, that I would like to read to you, that's by Robert Lawrence Binion, and it's called For the Fallen. And it was written with the sacrifices of the veterans of World War I. For the fallen, with proud thanksgiving, a mother for her children, England marches, mourns for her dead across the sea. Flesh of her flesh, they were spirits of her spirit, fallen in the cause of the free. Solemn the drums thrill, death august, and royal sing sorrow up into immoral spheres. There is music in the midst of desolation, and a glory that shines upon our tears. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their face to the foe. They shall grow not old as we are, left grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. They mingle not with their laughing comrades again. They sit no more at familiar tables of home. They have no lot in our labor of the daytime. They sleep beyond England's foam. But there are our desire and our hope profound, felt as wellspring that is hidden from sight. To the innermost heart of their own land they are known, as the stars are known to the night. As the stars that shall be bright when we are dust, moving in march upon the heavenly plain. As the stars that are starry in the time of our darkness, to the end they remain. And that's the Fallen by Robert Binion. Now, the Marines were the only force that was between the German army of World War I and Paris. The Marine Brigade was the only thing that stood between the Germans taking Paris. And they turned back the Germans and destroyed the German offensive created by General Ludendorff. And a lot of people accredit it to the fact that the Marines were all expert riflemen, sharpshooters. And when they attacked, they were forced back into the woods by the German infantry, and this turned out to be an asset rather than a detriment to the Marines, because they used the cover of the woods to enable them to destroy the German offensive more or less one by one. And I think what I'll do is I'll read you the Marine Corps Rifleman's Creed. And this was written by William H. Rupert, a general during World War II, and I assume he was a officer during World War I. And it's called the Rifleman's Creed, and it's by General William H. Rupert. And it goes, the Rifleman's Creed. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it as I must master my life. My rifle without me is useless. Without my rifle, I am useless. I must fire my rifle true. I must shoot straight and straighter than my enemy who is trying to kill me. I must shoot him before he shoots me. I will. My rifle and I know what counts in war. Is not the rounds we fire, the noise of our burst, nor the smoke we make. We know that it is the hits that count. We will hit. My rifle is human, even as I because it is my life. Thus I will learn it as a brother. I will learn its weaknesses, its strength, its parts, its accessories, its sight, and its barrel. I will keep my rifle clean and ready, even as I am clean and ready. We will become part of each other, we will. Before God I swear this creed, my rifle and I are defenders of my country. We are the masters of our enemy. We are the survivors of life. So be it, until victory is America and there is no enemy but peace. Now, the Battle of Belleau Wood took place in France in 1918, June of 1918. And it ran roughly for about a week or two, possibly 3 weeks. And it was known as the German offensive, the Spring Offensive. And according to the German General Staff, this would end World War I with the occupation of Paris and the Germans winning World War I, which was not the case. Germany lost. During the Spring Offensive, the Germans had come dangerously close to breaking the Allied line, protecting Amiens and Paris. Ludendorff was strengthened by a huge influx of experienced German soldiers who had fought in Russia in 1900. However, as a result of the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, 1917, Russia had pulled out of World War I, and Germany, therefore, could move her soldiers to the Western Front. The German push, ironically, was so successful that all these at the front stormtroopers who had done so much damage to the Allied front line could not be supplied, and their advance slowed to a halt along the line of advance. However, the Germans had constructed heavily defended positions that, while in peace, threatened cities such as major rail hubs at the Amiens and the Paris itself. One such place was Belleau Wood. And in effect, what you had here was you had Russia capitulating to Germany, Germany sending her troops to the Western Front, strengthening the Western Front, and these experienced troops, known as stormtroopers, and then in World War I, they attacked the Allies, the French line, and they were very successful until they came upon the United States Marine Corps, the brigade that was over there. Now, this Marine Corps brigade at the time was led by General Lejeune, and he's a big figure in the United States Marine Corps, being that General Lejeune created the Marine Corps history, where we celebrate the Marine Corps birthday every year on November 10th. General Lejeune was the one that inspired Marine commanders to hold Marine Corps receptions and balls honoring the Marine Corps birthday, November 10th. And he was very instrumental in building the Marine Corps that you and I know of today. Now, getting back to Belleau Wood, the task of clearing Belleau Wood was given to the 2nd and 3rd Division of the U.S. Army. And the Marine Corps was a part of the U.S. Army, 2nd and 3rd Divisions. All right. And I might add that the 2nd and 3rd Division, let me give a little plug for my uncle, was a member of the Yankee Division, was a member of the 2nd and 3rd Divisions that was serving in France. And more than likely, you heard of Chateau Thierry and these places. Well, Belleau Wood is more or less in the corner, and when you go to Chateau Thierry and you view the World War I cemeteries, you'll see that the Belleau Wood Cemetery is more or less alongside or within, you can see it from the Chateau Thierry military cemeteries, which I might add that in Belleau Wood, there are a lot of French citizens that every June they go to the cemetery, the Marine Corps cemetery at Belleau Wood, and they decorate each and every Marine Corps grave that made the supreme sacrifice in defending the United States and defending freedom back in the 1918. The task of clearing Belleau Wood was given to the 2nd and 3rd Division of the U.S. Army. Half of the 2nd Division was made up of units of the United States Marines, the 4th Marine Brigade, which comprised of the 5th and 6th Marine Corps Regiment. Now, in the Marine Corps, to this day, the 5th Regiment and the 6th Regiment, which now the 5th Regiment is a member of the 1st Marine Division, and the 6th Regiment is a member of the 2nd Marine Division, and they were, for their duty and the honor and for defense of Paris, the French government gave them a decoration. And the Marines call it the Pogan Rope, but what it is, it's the French decoration where it's a Legion medal, and they wear it on their left shoulder. It's green, and it hangs over the left shoulder. And the 5th and 6th Marines were awarded this, and to this day, these Marines that belong to these two regiments, the 5th Regiment and the 6th Regiment, they wear that croix de guerre, and that's the rope that most Marines refer to as a Pogan rope. To get to the woods, the Marines had to cross a field. It was called the wheat field and meadow. The Germans had placed their machine guns in a way that they could continuously sweep these fields with accurate, high-intensive fire. The Marines had to launch 6 attacks on the German positions in Belleau Woods that were the most difficult to identify in an initial attack because they were so well positioned. The wood itself was also made up of closely packed trees that made any advance difficult in the extreme. Now, the wheat field for the 4th Brigade, this was a field which was flat, and the Marines had to advance, or they had to charge across this field and get to the woods. Along the periphery of the woods were all German machine guns, right? And at that time, I think the German machine gun was called the Maxim. It was a very excellent water-cooled machine gun. And I don't know the exact rounds per minute, but it was an excellent gun developed by Maxim. Now, these machine guns, when they're set up, are set up usually, and in most cases, by experts. And the experts, what they do is they set a machine gun up with what we call interlocking fire. Each machine gun would lock into the other machine gun, so there was no stepping area, no sleeping area. In other words, every area would be covered. You couldn't walk without being sprayed with a machine gun bullet. And this was what the Marine Corps had to run across, this field. And they went across, and to my recollection, according to the records, they attacked 6 times. 6 times. Can you imagine attacking once and then being thrown back and then go again the 2nd time and then you go the 3rd time? And that was the valor of these Marines. And incidentally, one sergeant by the name of Daniel Daly from Long Island, a lifelong Marine who's buried in Long Island, and incidentally, Master Sergeant Daly, Sergeant Major Daly, he had the distinction of being awarded the Medal of Honor twice. The first Medal of Honor he was awarded was in China, and the second Medal of Honor he was awarded was in Haiti. And Haiti, Nicaragua, and he was one of the sergeant majors in the 4th Marine Brigade. And he's known for a quote that when they were going up and down and doing their 6 counterattacks, Sergeant Daly stood up and he said, "Come on, you SBs, you can't live forever." And he rustled them up and inspired them to go once again across the wheat field. And the tenacity and the bravery and the semper fidelis, always faithfulness, this made a victory possible for the Allies, or for the French, because the Marine Corps took the day. It took them roughly about 2 to 3 weeks, but they cleaned that whole woods of Germans, and they won the Battle of Belleau Wood. Now, to give you an idea, to get to the woods, the Marines had to cross the wheat field and the meadow. The Germans had placed their machine guns in a way that they could continuously sweep the field with accuracy and high-intensity fire. The Marines had to launch 6 attacks on German positions in Belleau Woods that were, for the most part, difficult to identify in an initial attack because they were so well positioned. The wood itself was also made up of closely packed trees that made any advance difficult in the extreme. Caught in the open field or in the densely packed woods, French officers advised the Marines to turn back. This they refused to do. U.S. Captain Lloyd Williams said in response to this, "Retreat, hell, we just got here." U.S. Marine casualties were the highest in the Corps' history up to that date. And then that's not counting up to that date, but when you go to places like World War II, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and the biggest Marine Corps casualties were on Peleliu during World War II. However, Corps units once got into the woods, the trees that hindered a swift advance also became a source of protection. Marines, snipers could pick off Germans' machine gun posts with some ease. Once a machine gun fired, it gave away the position of the of the machine gun team, General Pershing, Blackjack Pershing, was to state that the deadliest weapon in the world is a Marine and his rifle. Even a post-battle German report stated the Marines' marksman was remarkable. And I'd like to introduce a little history here. During the Battle of Belleau Wood, the Marines fought so tenaciously, and they were so more or less dedicated to the fight that the Germans' infantry developed a nickname for them. And their nickname was Treffelhund. And in German, that translates into English as devil dog. And to this day, a U.S. Marine is referred to as devil dog. And the old saying is, some people call us leathernecks, others call us devil dogs. We prefer to be called Marines. By June 26, the Marines confirmed that they had taken the entire woods to clear the woods in there entirely. The Marines had frequently resorted to hand-to-hand fighting with bayonet and knife. Such the ferocity of this that the Germans gave the Marines the nickname Treffelhunden, which roughly translates as devil dog. The success of the U.S. Marines in cleaning a strategically important place came at a cost out of 9,777 U.S. casualties. 1,811 were fatalities, that's killed in action. No one is quite sure about the German casualties because the end of the Battle of Belleau Wood corresponded with a general German withdrawal along the whole front. Over 1,600 German prisoners were taken, so it is assumed that the German casualties were high. In the term of overall casualty figures, the casualties at the Somme and Verdun dwarfed the number of deaths at Belleau Woods. They were smaller. However, the psychological damage the defeat had on the German military cannot be underestimated. The Germans were in a very defensive stronghold with a sweep of fire that was to prove deadly. Few in the German military hierarchy, that's Ludendorff and his staff, General Ludendorff, would have expected the woods to fall so quickly. Not only was the defeat of the German at Belleau Wood a major blow to the German, it was also proven to be a huge moral booster to the Allied forces that were still suffering from the onset that was the Spring Offensive. After the battle, the French renamed Belleau Woods Bois de la Brigade des Marines, Wood of the Marine Brigade, and the 4th Brigade was awarded the Croix de Guerre by the French in recognition of their achievement. And like I said before, they continue to this day, they wear that green honor on their left shoulder. Now, in respect to Belleau Wood, every June, the Marine Corps and the citizens of France honor these Marines. The Marines go and they make sure that the graves are decorated and the honor, proper military honor, is rendered to these men who have made this supreme sacrifice. And the French people come out and honor our dead. And the reason we celebrate it, or I mention it, is that Memorial Day, which was created more or less, and we, as a young man, I remember the World War I veterans, and like today, they're becoming fewer and fewer. And so I suggest that people go out and honor your veterans. And The only other thing is these political pundits, such as our state senator and our state representative and our 2 United States senators and our congresswoman, I suggest that they pay more honor and take care of our veterans, which they're not doing. We're having people that are dying at the veteran hospitals in Connecticut, and nobody's doing anything about it. Well, I'd like to thank you for allowing me into your homes. And remember, when you watch the Memorial Day parade, that you give a thought, a minute or two, to the brave Marines who fought at Belleau Wood and are still in Belleau Wood. And you honor them. And maybe in Simsbury, we can name a street after Belleau Wood and the Marines. And I still feel that we have to give honor to the veteran who made the supreme sacrifice, Sergeant Delgado, Felix Delgado, who made the supreme sacrifice for Simsbury, and who still has not received his proper recognition. So, thank you again. God bless.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.